A woman is many things. I thought about this a lot when I was watching the documentary film on Dolores in my women's gender studies class this year. She has done so much for the farmers' union movement in California, yet all the media chose to focus on the negatives of Dolores' personal life. They zoomed in Dolores' relationship with her children and her untraditional second marriage. And when the whole world chose to discredit Dolores with the flaws and insecurities of her personal life, her organization chose to vote her out and did not have her back, mostly because they did not believe in the femininity of Dolores in her role of leadership. All that because she is a woman. Don't get me wrong, I understand that men have problems too. But I wonder if men had a choice, of which women don't have. Because for women, in order to embrace ourselves and our identities, we only have two paths. Either to stand up against oppressive social expectations, or to internalize the struggle and become another perpetuator of the patriarchy. Yet often men are provided the opportunities to choose whether they want to support feminism movement. When confronted with the question on gender inequality, what I often hear from men is, it's sad, but there's not much I could do about it, because I'm not a woman, right? This type of ignorant comments make me think that perhaps many men treat sexism the way many white people treat racism, which is that they want out because they're not the ones being oppressed here. But what I want to talk about today isn't about men. What I want to speak about here is what it means to be a woman. And I don't really get to speak about being a woman much. Even though I'm a woman of color, I'm often expected to choose and prioritize the fight against racism over the fight against sexism. And being a queer woman of color, life becomes much complicated because of the intersectionality that often makes me feel inadequate when I try to speak of one aspect of my identities. And when I do speak of being a woman, I always feel like I'm not good enough, intelligent enough, experienced enough, or even just pretty enough, because I don't know if I'm woman enough for this world. When I'm confronted with the question on what defines a woman, I find myself in loss of words because oftentimes the definition of women has been given to us, and it's quite narrow. You gotta be smart, yet not in a way that's intimidating. You need to be beautiful and with a perfect body that makes everyone jealous. You also have to be well-liked, kind in a way that's welcoming towards both your friends and your enemies. These are the impossible standards I have learned about being a woman since I was born. And being a woman is merely just biological. It has everything to do with the culture and the society we were born in. How do I love myself when I'm told to be a certain way by the society? I don't think I'll ever be able to accept myself unless if I try to practice the kind of self-love that exists outside of all these social expectations. In Sonia Renee Taylor's The Body is Not an Apology, she stated that while not completely unrelated to self-esteem or self-confidence, radical self-love is its own entity, a lush and verdant island offering safe harbor for self-esteem and self-confidence. This statement really makes me rethink about the idea of how we love ourselves as women. Are we supposed to love ourselves based on other people's opinion, which affects our self-confidence and self-esteem? If that's the case, how will we ever feel good enough to love ourselves? And even if we do finally fit into the shallow boxes the society made for us as women, will we feel loved? A woman is many things, and to love ourselves as women is to admit that we have to love the many aspects of our identities. The world wants us to be put into these limited gender roles. A good daughter, a good girlfriend, a good wife, and a good mom. These are important roles in families and societies. But we're so much more. We're students, dancers, writers, educators, politicians. We're people who make a difference in this world. And we need to love ourselves for that. For the fact that we're more than who the society has tried to assign us to be. So that we remember when we mess up in our jobs as a daughter, a wife, or a mom at times, we're still deserving of love and empathy from ourselves. And no matter what the world tells us, all the many aspects and roles we play in this society as a woman should be respected and celebrated.